Hello everyone and welcome to this week of First and 10. I am of course joined by the Eli Manning to my Victor Cruz. I mean, get this crap out of our show. That's just... they're on a roll, but hey, it's getting cold outside, so they're about to have their biannual multi-year collapse, so just enjoy it for a while it's going on, okay there, bud?
I will,
Yeah, well,
don't you worry.
Well, I can see you're in a very jovial mood after your team had a nice come-from-behind victory over the Washington Redskins. My team, the Buffalo Bills, they blew it. Well,
He's a little bitter.
Well, not really. I think we all could have seen that coming because they're Buffalo, and when you're in a shootout and you have to kick 2 field goals when Titans are scoring touchdowns, you're basically setting yourself up to lose the game. And Ryan Fitzpatrick proves to be one of the most inconsistent quarterbacks in the league. Why is he throwing interceptions on like drives where we just need to run the clock out? I don't know.
And Chris Johnson, he always comes to play against you boys. Holy crap.
Chris Johnson just came to realize that if they played the Buffalo Bills every week of the season, he would be the all-time league rusher in yards because he showed up for the first time since 2009.
Yeah.
So
against you guys last time.
Way to go, Buffalo! Love you. I love you. But this is going to be an exciting show. I thought it was a pretty interesting week in the NFL. We had 2 games go to overtime. Which is always fun. Now, it wasn't exciting as looking at the NCAA last weekend, and we had 2 games go to overtime, and one of them was double OT, one was triple OT. Where's that NFL? But good week this week. You know, some exciting matchups. The one I'm particularly really interested in is the Thursday nighter, and that may strike a lot of people off guard, but I like what Minnesota and Tampa Bay are doing. I'm just going to say that right now. I like what they're doing. So I guess since we kind of just basically said it was an interesting week, and that seems to be the theme of our show, starting out every week. It's been interesting and an exciting week. I guess, do you think the NFL is the most competitive league in terms of all the major pro sports between the NBA, which is about to get started up again, baseball, which is winding down as the World Series actually start today, and the NHL, which is in recess. So is the NFL the most competitive league out there in North America?
I agree. I think it definitely is. Right now, it's the most fun thing to watch. I mean, I'm just waiting for Sundays, you know? And I really think it is the any given Sunday mentality. Doing a lot of picks this year, doing this show this year, it is hard to choose and to figure out who actually has the upper hand, who is going to win. And that makes it so much more exciting. Last week, there was only 2 games that were decided by 8 points or more. That is remarkable. And it's, like I said, it's a lot of fun to watch. As a fan, we're spoiled. We are spoiled because it's just entertainment every Sunday.
Well, I mean, that's what makes it so jovial and enjoyable to have as how competitive is. And I think that's one of the, I guess, you know, you don't want to say a benefactor from the near lockout, but that's kind of what it is the teams are still kind of are still coming off of that whole thing. Now, last year it was even more competitive because they barely had any training camp, which I think made it an extra exciting league. But, you know, I would say it's definitely up there in terms of more competitiveness, just because I think the schooling is so much, in the States for the NCAA, is so much more even in its own right and so much more interesting. Like when you look at the NBA, it's really a 4-team league in terms of 2 teams per conference that can win a championship. Baseball I'd say is getting a little bit more competitive when you saw the teams like the Orioles this year and the Nationals finally break out.
Oh, I agree. Baseball playoffs compares to regular season NFL.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. And then when you look at the NHL, I mean, it can be, but, you know, they're one of the dumbest run organizations in the world, so we won't be seeing any hockey this year unless you got the NHL Network or ESPN Classics, because, I mean, or TSN Wednesday nights to show some old classic hockey. I mean, I feel like it's the summertime here with classic Krusty being shown on, you know what, if you know what I'm saying here. But, you know, I mean, it's definitely up there in terms of competitiveness. I don't know if it's the most competitive league out there. I think the EPL and the UEFA are up there if you saw the UEFA Championship stuff from yesterday. Fantastic soccer. But this is a football show. Now that's football, and only assholes call it soccer. I guess moving on to this week we have at hand. Like I said, the Thursday nighter really excites me. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to the great state of Prince, Minnesota, with the big ball and plenty of lakes, and an exciting football team in the Minnesota Vikings, 5-2. They looked really good bouncing back after RG3 ran all over them against the Arizona Cardinals. I think the thing that's really amazing is how well they're playing with, not just Adrian Peterson, who's bouncing back off that ACL injury. Christian Ponder's playing good football, but the defense is what's not getting any of the credit, and that still amazes me because they still got the likes of Jared Allen on that team. With Tampa, they came off a heartbreaking loss against the Saints, a game that really should have gone to overtime, but, they called illegal touching, and I didn't know Jerry Sandusky played on the Buccaneers, but that was what was called, and they unfortunately had to feel the loss, but I felt the Bucs handled that well. I thought their coach realized they shouldn't have even had to be in that situation, because they were up pretty big early in that game, so there's that. So I guess I'll just leave it to you, Eli. Who do you like for Thursday?
Yeah, the Tampa Bay Bucks. Love the Tampa Bay Bucks. They're almost heartbreaking though, because I like a lot of people on their team and stuff, and I think they have a good future. They're just not there yet. They just can't beat those higher level teams. Last week I watched that game. Almost put into overtime against the Saints. Really, I thought it was a great play by Freeman, but. Just couldn't get it done. I gotta go with Minnesota, though, this week. Just because at home, they are crazy good. They haven't lost yet this year at home. And I think they're gonna keep that streak going. And yeah, Minnesota's gonna beat Tampa Bay this week.
I don't know, I find it very interesting just because I think we've seen Minnesota play, certain teams really well. Like, of course, they're the first team to beat the 49ers this year, and how well the 49ers looked against Seattle on last Thursday, I thought was pretty, shows how well really, I guess, Minnesota is overall. I really like Tampa. I even liked them in the creamsicle jerseys personally. Hey, folks, I kind of like the jerseys. They're sweet and the old logo. Sure, it means they're a really crappy team, but they're sweet to bring back once in a while. But yeah, Tampa, I like what they're doing. You really saw how well the pickups that they made in the offseason of Dallas Clark and Vincent Jackson were on that last-minute drive that, really wasn't to be, unfortunately, like we said. But I'm going to have to go with Minnesota just on that home factor. I think that, the dome's going to be really loud. The place is going to be rocking. And, this is the first, real meaningful game for Minnesota, as a lot of people haven't seen what Minnesota's been able to do. I think this is a chance for Minnesota to, really shine in that division since Detroit had the big blowout loss to the Bears on Monday. So, it's time for Minnesota to make it purple rain all over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But then on Sunday, we got to go take a trip over the seas to the pond for a spot of tea, because the New England Patriots will take on the St. Louis Rams, and which should be a cracking good matchup at Wembley Stadium. Both teams are playing pretty good football right now. The Patriots had to go to overtime to beat the Royal Rex Ryan New York Jets, while the Rams had another crucial loss last week. Who are you liking? Is it going to be New England in New England, or is Sam Bradford going to be a jolly old good chap and spoil things over there for the Patriots?
All right, well, I'm not even going to attempt.
Well, that's why I do it. That's why you just here to lay the facts down, and that's your job, Eli.
I like both these teams. Rams, you know how much I like Sam Bradford. He needs some more weapons, though. Needs some more people to throw to, and that team will be so much better. Patriots offense is just going to be too good for the Rams defense. I know that Patriots have been making it close lately, and they just can't blow teams out like they used to for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. But
I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, well, I am too. I'm okay with it. But I think the Pats just have too many weapons on offense. Rams, get more weapons, and then maybe you can compete with the Patriots. But no, Patriots are winning this game, even though it's in St. Louis. it's not really. And actually, probably there will be more fans cheering for the Patriots over the pond.
Well, I think the Rams do need to get more weapons, but they shouldn't bring them to London if they get them, because that's just dangerous, folks.
Yeah,
you ever tried to fly to Europe with? That's just a mistake. So wait to get back to St. Louis to get those weapons. But I think this should be it should be an interesting matchup. I think it's a good test for the Jeff Fisher brand new remodeled Rams. I won't say improved, remodeled team. I think the Rams do make it close. I think the defense can get some good pressure on Brady. But I just think the Pats are just, too much, too strong for that young team. But I think the Rams can make it close. So I wouldn't count out the Rams, especially how the NFL has been. And the Pats aren't the same Pats team that we are used to seeing.
Yeah.
So, but I will take New England, though. I'm not... I may not enjoy Tom Brady, but I'm not a stupid man, so I'm going to take the New England Patriots. Now, of course, the big game for the week, the game to watch. The 3-3 Dallas Cowboys taking on the 5-2 New York Giants. Stop it. The New York Giants. This is a big blood match for you, is it? This is going for the jugular here. This is basically like when Jean-Claude Van Damme fought Tong Po, and I believe that was Kickboxer, good movie. So you're going for revenge because they took the home opener, they took your Super Bowl crowning moment. They ruined that. They ruined your prom moment, if you will.
At home.
At home. And Kevin Ogletree showed up for that one game. But he hasn't showed up all years, but he could show up in the Big D of Dallas, Texas. Dallas, I will say this. I had a rant a couple weeks ago about Tony and the team, but I think...
They seem to respond to that, right?
They have, and I think they have been playing great. They've been playing good football. They played good down the stretch against the Baltimore Ravens. Des Bryant, fuck the team over. Sorry for the language, but hey, that's what he did.
Whoa.
That's what he did. He didn't catch the ball, and he's the big receiver. I mean, he should have caught that ball. But they played well enough against Carolina, and I think the defense came in check and really proved how well their defense really is. That, was really unveiled against the Giants in week 1. But the Giants, on the other hand, now if we think the Cowboys are playing pretty well football, the Giants are in another stratosphere of good football, folks. I mean, they are on a roll. But like I said, they could be peaking too soon, a problem most Giant fans may have. They may come too soon.
It's not November yet.
But actually, it could be by the time most people watch this episode or something like that. So, hey, folks, I mean, if the Giant fans have hair lost or need to, are hanging from ledges, you know why? Because the weather got colder and the team realized, we can't be playing this good now. We got to suck now and then get good once the playoffs come around. And we have to beat Dallas in that, pivotal matchup that happened last year. Or really every year, let's face it. But I really like what your team's doing. Like I've said before, the Eli... Cruz connection is getting scary good. Bradshaw, by the way, since he's come back from that neck injury, playing fantastic football, running it really well. And I think the defense has come up really clutch. I'm going to start here for a change. I'm going to take the Giants here. I think the Giants got a lot to smack in the mouth. They got a lot of revenge to go up against Dallas. If the way the defense for the Giants has been playing, I can just see Tony being Tony and messing it up here. Now, we all kind of know who you're taking, but why are you going to take the Giants?
All right, well, this is a matchup. I mean, I'm so excited about this. I think we already established.
I'm pretty sure you're wearing a shirt.
Yeah. This is a matchup, and I think it's really going to come down to the Giants' number 3 passing attack versus Dallas's number 3 pass defense in the league. And it's just going to be those wide receivers, Cruz and Nix, against the Dallas's cornerbacks. And who's going to win that? And I agree with you. Eli and Cruz connection is just looking too scary right now. They're on too big of a roll. I don't think they're getting shut down. And that is why they're going to win. Giants passing attack just going to be too much for Dallas's corners. And that's basically it. I think it's funny that you mentioned the Baltimore game. I think it's going to be a lot like that Baltimore game. It's going to be close like that. Both Giants are going to run the ball against them. Not that Bradshaw's Ray Rice, but, close to. And, but yeah, the deep ball for Giants is too good right now.
That's a good analysis there, and that's a very thought-out thing there for a Giant. Now, what if the Giants lose to Dallas? I mean, how are you going to handle the Cowboy fans?
There'll be no show next week. It's canceled.
Well, I disagree with that. It's my YouTube account. I say there's a show, and I will be here. If I have to come out here every week, the damn Bills are throwing it up. You have to come out here and realize the fact that your team blew it against your new division rival. So I will make that happen. We can't have you just hide at home. So I will not let that happen. But speaking of a team that's kind of been hiding at home, the Carolina Panthers, I don't even know what's happened to them. I had so much hope for this team, and, you know, is it a sophomore slump? I don't know. Cam Newton was the guy that they were going to put on Madden, but he wasn't picked by the fans. They went with Calvin Johnson. I don't want to say it's a Madden-ish curse because he was like the finalist, but there's a sophomore slump or something in there. I don't know what it is. I mean, the team fired their general manager, Marty Herney. Herney, he gone. I don't think that's the right thing to do. I don't know if it's the GM's fault the team's doing. I mean, sure, he could have maybe picked you up some new weapons to throw the football to, but I don't think firing your GM now is like the right reason. I mean, get someone in there that can help get you guys, but really, when you look at the team, they haven't been able to themselves run the ball well with Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams and stuff of that nature, but when you look at their offensive weapons, with the exception of LaFay, I mean, they seem pretty old out there, and this is a young quarterback needing, youth out there, and I feel like they're putting so much on just Cam to, scramble and make things happen, and while I'll defend Cam on that, it seems like a little bit too much like, unfortunate situations. He's had two defenses kind of ruin his day on game-winning drives in Seattle and Dallas. It seems though he hasn't handled the losses well, and I think that really hurts the momentum. Yeah. Now, last week he was out there basically just, kind of throwing his hands up in the air, basically saying, someone has an answer, let's just tell me because I need to know. And it seems like he's kind of given up. I don't know. Maybe it was the fact he was wearing a ridiculously ugly sweater in that press conference. I mean, that thing was horrible. No one should ever... Cam, what are you doing, son? I mean, that was gross. But it just seems like he's not handling himself like the leader that the team needs. When he's down, the team's down. And when you're down, you're going to go out there and play like that. So, I don't know. What's your take on this whole Carolina Panther situation?
I don't live in Carolina, but really, I think last year they overachieved a lot. I think they did a lot better than what a lot of people thought they were going to do with rookie Cam Newton. And then, well, he was.
I know.
And then this year, I mean, they come out, yeah, they're 1-5, definitely not ideal, but I don't see that big of an issue with this. They're not an elite team. They're not a team that's going to compete with those top teams. They're not a team that's going to compete for the division, especially the division that they're in with Atlanta and the Saints now on a resurgence. I think it was a rash decision to fire the GM for sure. I think they need to look more in coaching and maybe change up their schemes. Like you said, they're not running the ball well. That can just come down to formation changes. Get more blocks on there. And you can't put all this pressure on Cam. As much success as he had last year, he's still just, it's a second year in the league. Teams have learned how to play him. They scout him. And it's not working. And you can't overreact. Like I said, last year they overachieved. This year, maybe they're underachieving a little bit, but you just gotta stick your course, and maybe in a year or two from now you can build on that. So I agree with you though. Cam needs to suck it up a little bit. He needs to stop being such a baby. You look so pathetic in those press conferences. No one cares about, oh, my team is so bad, I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. Just suck it up, man, and go out there, play football. You're gonna lose, you're gonna win. Get over yourself.
It could have also been the sweater that made him cry. I mean, it was mole hair. He could be allergic to the sweater. He didn't know. I mean, folks, did you see the sweater? It was awful, okay? No one should wear that. But, you did mention New Orleans in there as a team that seems to be on the resurgence. And speaking of them, they play Sunday night against Peyton Manning in another marquee matchup. Woo. As you can tell, folks, I mean, Roger Goodell continues to whore out Peyton Manning with these just give him a Sunday 1 o'clock game. I'm pretty sure he'd like that. I think everyone's getting a little sick and tired of seeing the Denver Broncos out there in prime time on a Monday or a Sunday. Just give him a 1 o'clock game like the rest of the teams, okay? I'm not asking for much.
Last Monday was pretty sweet.
It was, only not really because I picked the Chargers. But 2 Mondays ago now. But this game, though, on Sunday, the Saints, they get the big win on a Sunday nighter against the Chargers, nonetheless, speak of the devil. They had their bye, and they come back, and they were down and looked like maybe they had some rust from the bye, but they got it done against Tampa Bay. And then the Broncos, they had a miraculous second half comeback against the same Chargers. When you look at the stats, though, Phillip Rivers on his last 4 drives, they were all turnovers. So that's not good. So Phillip Rivers is done as an elite quarterback. I mean, that must make you hurt. I mean, next week, are you going to come in a Rivers shirt? I don't know. He could. But this game I find interesting. It's in Denver. We'll see how the Saints can stack up against a team with, a super strong defense and a team that has shown, the adversity comeback like the Saints kind of have in their own right. And this one, as much as I like what New Orleans is doing, I'm going to lean Denver, and that's rare because I barely picked against the Saints this year, and they started off 0-4. So, that's kind of crazy, but I'm going to go with Denver here. What about you?
This game's going to be a shootout. Mile high, too. It's just going to be deep ball, all the way. Lots of passing yards. It's going to be exciting if you like that kind of thing. But yeah, Saints defense, they gotta get better against running and against passing. And Denver's defense, I thought they'd be better this year, but they're definitely better than the Saints defense. I gotta go with Denver as well, just because Denver has a better defense and mile high. Gotta go with Denver.
The game should be mile high, and I expect one team to definitely outgun the other at the end of the day. But then moving to the end of the night, in a game that I guess a couple weeks ago we would have been a little more excited about, but the way Arizona's been playing, it seems like they've come back to earth, which really shouldn't surprise anyone. It's the San Francisco 49ers against the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. So, Arizona does have that going for them here. Arizona is tough to play. Really, the only team I can really think about beating Arizona, kind of ugly and stuff, but they did beat them there, was my Bills 2 weeks ago. So the way you look at Arizona, Skelton is now at the quarterback helm because of the Kevin Cobb injury. And Skelton's throwing passes that I don't even know if you would throw at flag football. He had an interception last week in Minnesota that was just downright laughable. Like, he got pressured out of the pocket and was just like, you take the ball, even though you're not on my team. So there's that. The San Francisco defense, I think, is going to bounce back in terms of a road performance. It seems they haven't looked that great on the road. When they went to, a dome environment in Minnesota, it looked like they got caught in a trap game, and Minnesota beat them at a game that they may also not have taken themselves very well serious. So I think here they're going to take themselves a little bit more serious because, one, it's a divisional opponent. Two, Arizona, they look very promising. And I think, if Fitzgerald can get going, that's always a good thing. Skelton can play well. He played great last year in, pressure situations with Arizona, and I think he can still do that. I still think he's a good quarterback. Just, I think maybe he wasn't expecting, the kind of pass rush that Minnesota was bringing at him. I can see Arizona winning because Arizona at home to me is just as tough as Seattle is to play there. They really scare me at home. But I think San Francisco is still an elite above team in that division and even one of the best in the NFC. I'm expecting them to be in the NFC Championship game, so I'm going to go with them. I think they're just going to ground and pound the ball, and they're going to let, some of the weapons get open.
All right. San Francisco's been struggling, in my opinion, the last 2 weeks. Didn't even score a touchdown at home against the Giants 2 weeks ago. Last week, I don't know if it's more a testament to Seattle, or if it's more of a showing that, San Fran didn't play that well. I thought that game, I did pick Seattle, but San Francisco, I didn't think they looked that good. They got to get a little bit better on offense. They haven't been passing the ball very well lately. But basically the difference between this game and the game against Seattle is Arizona doesn't have a rushing defense. And Arizona doesn't have a rushing defense. San Francisco has Frank Gore, who's just going to run it down their throats all friggin' night, and that's why San Francisco is going to win right there.
Well, I think we can both agree on that. I wouldn't say that the 49ers didn't play well. I think it just really continues to show how well that Seahawk defense really is. And you have to give San Francisco credit. They were down like 6-0, which in a defensive struggle like that can be enough. And I think their offense came and showed up. Their big dude, Gore, got it done there. Now, the issue for me with Gore He did seem hurt at the end of the game against Seattle, and who knows what his situation is going in Arizona. However, I think a 75 or even 65% Gore can beat what Arizona has to offer as of right now, so that's why I'm still going to go with San Francisco. Now, winding down the show here, we're going to go to our quick pick segment. Quick picks. We need to put some music in here. We really need to get music in here, folks, for this segment. Now Atlanta, they come back from the bye. They're still 6-0, of course. Now they're trying to go to 7-0 for obviously the first time in franchise history. Going to Philadelphia to take on the 500 Eagles, the elite Philadelphia Eagles. To you, who are you taking in this one?
Yeah, Atlanta.
I'm taking Atlanta as well. The Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. Miami looking to get revenge against the Jets in New York this now.
Gotta go with Miami.
I'm going to go with the Jets, actually, in this one. Right. The Skins and the Steelers. I'm going to go with RG3 and the Washington Redskins. I'm still not too impressed with what Pittsburgh has to offer. San Diego Chargers and the Cleveland Browns.
Philip Rivers and the Chargers.
Well, at least Philip Rivers does get to have another bye week because he's playing Cleveland. Indianapolis Colts and the Tennessee Titans, and what could be actually a really good matchup.
Could be, but my boy Luck's gonna get it done. Indianapolis.
I'm gonna take Tennessee. I haven't been too impressed with what the Colts have to offer on the road, so I'm gonna go with the Titans. And of course, the Raiders and the Chiefs.
Raiders.
I'm going to go with the Raiders, too. Chiefs could be the worst team in the league, actually, when you look at things. But that's going to be it for this week. Be back next week to tune in, because there is going to be always some interesting comments here. Come on, you can't... And maybe Matt will have a Victor Cruz shirt on. I don't know. Who knows? He may have, married the whole Giant team by the end of the season. I don't know, but he could have that happen. It's legal there, right? I think so. But that's it for this week. For Matt, I'm out. Peace.